keep discovering it, like, you can't not. And
So shout out to the hot dogs of all hot dogs.
So is the quality? Is there a difference in quality?
I think you're seeing the same products. When you're seeing maybe 1,000 milligram edibles, but you're seeing Veritas and cookies, the same product. Is that not the same case? But it's
not
just
always true, but for the most part, yes.
Okay.
So you mentioned standing akimbo. That is, if you ask me, I have 2 med dispensaries that I go to every week. I would go to standing akimbo more if the line wasn't so long.
and I mean, yeah, I get it.
They have Veritas, they have Green Dot, they have all the great brands. That's where I bought my Puffco from because that's the best place you could buy it, and they really take care of their members. It just is not that convenient for me to get up to the Highlands and wait for a couple of hours, like the wait can be sometimes. That's my number 1, for always and forever. My number 2 that has taken the place is All Greens. It's on Santa Fe. It's
Okay.
only, and their concentrates are insane. So,
Loving them?
yeah, and they're
Are they in-house? Yeah, okay, so they're
you
in-house.
can't get those anywhere else. But if I do shop at Standing Akimbo, I can get, koala banana pudding 1,000 milligram bar versus it being 30 milligrams on the recreational side.
So do you feel, and this may be a question and a little bit more over the heads of some folks because we're not all in that same boat, but do you feel that doing the dabs will make you have to eat the more edible like dosages, or like can you still enjoy a flower or a pen like the average bear for those that may be dipping their toe into the pool? Or, yeah, because going through the dab route usually makes it a little bit more precarious to go back and like catch a fade through
Yeah,
flower.
I think it's natural for your tolerance to go up over time, but I think that different products affect different people differently, like especially edibles. Some people, Kai included, like he could eat 50 milligrams and like not even feel it, and it's not because he doesn't get affected by it or his tolerance is high. I just don't think that the way that his body metabolizes that is as effective in his system.
I'm the same way. So I look for the fast acting. That's why I was joking about how I enjoy the taste buds and the EBs, because those things will hit you like a pound of bricks and they go through a different system rather than like metabolizing in your belly. Because I had that same situation. I'm like, shit. I feel like it's falling on deaf ears sometimes, but I don't want to throw down 75 milligrams and be like, oh, I just ran into a fucking wall. And so I'm more in that casual usage. Yeah. So, like it's not a dance or a fine line that you dance, but it's a dance that you have nonetheless.
It's a dance, but it's also like, what is your intention? Like, why are you smoking? What are you trying to get out of it? I think
I'm usually trying to get high.
well,
As high as I can. No.
Well, no, I mean, I can't do that in the morning. So we dip our, we ease in with a 10 milligram, with the coffee. And then you kind of go about your day just puffing tough on the vape pen, which won't get you there, But if you hit a
unless you wanted to.
like, yeah, you have to really, pull on that puppy and give it but if you just like casually tug on it and then the dabs at night and you'll just be rocket shipped into bedtime.
Yeah.
But if there are any negatives to having a med card, what would you say there are?
I don't personally see any. I feel safer when I travel with it to have my med card and just be like, here you go, if anybody asks for it, but nobody ever has. Yeah, I can't really find a negative.
And, we posed the question on our social media, and we were about to have some guests join us. But, the one thing that they said was that you may not be able to be licensed with certain guns, depending on what you have. Like, maybe if you have it for chronic back pain, but if you maybe have a medical marijuana license, they may not offer it for a litany of reasons because they have that out. But that could very well change in the coming years because of everything from, HIPAA violations that if cannabis was to be as friendly as, alcohol or a prescription drug, then why would you be able to flag someone for that but not for alprazolam?
Yeah.
That's what makes me wonder. So, there's a lot of questions out there, but I guess, I'm going to learn more as it goes. But do you find that it's overall beneficial and you enjoy it?
Yeah, I would say the reason that I don't see any negatives is because I don't care what anyone else thinks. Like,
Oh, that's a great reason
across the
to
board, like,
fuck them all.
yeah. But yeah, it's a better experience when you're shopping at the dispensaries. It's a higher quality product in a lot of cases, and you're also just saving tons, buckets of money.
And so
It's like a locals club. That's how it was phrased to me by
Yeah.
somebody. And it is, because if you live in the city, there's no reason you don't have it if you have a local spot next to you where you can do something like that. Like, you still get the same products, but you get them from cheaper. It's like fucking being a member of Costco. And I'm going to do it. That sold me. The Costco met the.
Where you can go, I can tell you the whole everything.
All right, so we're going to do this, and then I'm going to try to get into. So if somebody wants to go to Stoned and Chemo, should we go morning or should we go afternoon?
I've tried it all, so can we get them on the phone sometime and ask them what the tips are? Because I will go right when they open.
Spencer, we're going to have you on.
I will go in the middle of the day on a Monday. I will go, and you know, it's just hit or miss, but then it's always worth it. I will say, no matter how long I waited, it's always worth it.
All right, yeah. Chris, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to go ahead and get one. We'll show y'all how easy it is to do it.
So as we've been talking about like the med stuff, and we're waiting on a guest. I wanted to go back to, like, you know how you said like you've been more open about your cannabis use now. Are you getting, because one thing I know about you is you're engaged with your audience. So have you been fielding a lot more calls about like people interested in cannabis, or yeah?
Yeah, I get the message at least once a week, if not once a day, asking about CBD. Like, if they live somewhere in the South, probably, or just not, outside of Colorado. Hey, like, this isn't legal where I am. I want to get into this, or I'm thinking about doing this. I've been doing a lot of episodes of my podcast. Like, I actually just recently did a Q&A. Like, okay, give me your questions. There are no such thing as stupid questions, where I even talk through, like, okay, go to the dispensary. If you want to smoke flower, do this. If you want to try weed for the first time, smoke a joint. Don't eat an edible. Like, specific advice. So, check that out, I guess.
And so if anybody wants to find all your information before we dive into the guests, wherever they are, I don't know. We set a time. Maybe they'll be on time. I don't know. How does anybody find your content? Like, what are your main means or social mediums? How does folks go about finding you?
Instagram is my OG, CassidyEats. I'm CassidyEats on all platforms, but I've been posting a lot on TikTok recently. I love TikTok. It's such an easy way to connect with new audiences, and I think that since the algorithm is so smart, you can just post something Denver related, and Denver people will show up. Like, for example, I did a farmer's market haul yesterday from Pearl Street, and it's all Denver people. It's going like viral. I don't even get it.
I don't get it either, Chris.
Well, if people weren't so goddamn mean about just posting about weed, we'd be okay.
We're buried.
Spell it OUID.
That's the name of our other company, Weed Chef. Shout out. I already own the trademark. Bam.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be sneaky with how you do it.
They've figured out the weed on that one as well. You have to just throw up the little herb logo. Just
Yeah, like
the leaf. Yeah. It's fucking preposterous. But yeah, Cassie, we appreciate you joining us today. Hopefully we have some guests joining us here in a minute or two. We'll have them ask some questions. We'll talk a little bit about having a med card, reasonings behind it. But otherwise, you've been a wonderful guest. We're excited to have you back on the Cannabis Casting Couch.
Casting couch with Cassidy.
Yeah.
And we're excited for all the shit that you're about to do, and you're going to blow up, obviously.
Yeah, remember us when Oprah touches you again. All right, y'all. So I actually had a couple different guests call in, but because of recording issues, all we have is our one guest, John, joining us. My apologies. We'll get better at this as we go forward, taking calls, but here's guest John. John, you're here with Kip, CB, and our friend Cassidy. We're having guests join us to talk about their med card experience. We wanted to know about why you got it, how easy was the process, your favorite places to shop, and things along those lines. Can you give us a little history, John, into your background in cannabis, or excuse me, your smoking history?
Sure. Smoking history, big, right? All, like, I would say back through college, huge pothead, man. So yeah, I mean, I grew up fucking selling it back in Jersey. That's like how we did it. But now living out here, med card, everything like that, love it. it saves me a little bit in taxes. It's changed over, the year, it's not as well as it used to be. There's still some nice advantages to it, but I would say it's definitely fallen off a little bit, which is sad. Just because that's what Colorado is trying to push right now. But it's an awesome thing they get, and totally worth it if you guys are looking to do that. I mean, I smoke everything from, all the dabbables, all the concentrates in the world, but flower, I'm smoking joints every day. That's, I'll smoke anything. And you can get it all on the med side.
John, what's crazy is that statement you said, how it's kind of going down. Our previous guest mentioned kind of the same thing. Does the med card community, do they talk about this to dispensaries, or do you see that improving?
Yeah, no, I don't see it improving. If anything, it's going to keep going the opposite way, and it's going to be fewer and fewer as it goes because of the rules and regs. The lore to it, and the reason why everybody was doing it was because you could buy way more concentrates at a time. If it's in line with rec, there's almost a whole side of the med people, the med, consumers, that you get tracked every time you buy something on the med side, right? So you're getting tracked and stuff like that. So if there is no difference, why would you want to get tracked in what you're doing and what you're doing, every single day? If the only difference is a couple dollars in tax, because that's what it's coming out to be now. More people were buying, if you were able to buy so much more in concentrates as it used to be, and where it is now. You can only buy 8 grams at a time on both sides. So
wait, are you telling me that's a problem, is that you can only buy 8 grams at a time? And then what is it? What are you doing? Making 25 million fucking Instagram videos hitting grams? Do we need 16 grams in a day? Can we not go back to the dispensary the next day if we needed another 8?
Totally. And that's the thought of it though now, right? So like you're saying, there is certain people that would rather just buy what they buy for a month and call it a day. Yep. I came to my one dispensary, grabbed my one batch, and you were getting crazy deals too, the more you bought, right? So it's same thing, if you were buying back in the day when you were buying a pound of weed on the street, you're getting a better deal than if you buy, 1 gram at a time. So there was a lot better deals that were going on. Now that it's just back to where rec is, it's yeah, do I just shop on my rec side and not get tracked every single time I come here, and things about that? And what are you doing with all this stuff? Because there is that other side of it, that there was plenty of people that were going and doing this and buying it and, grabbing it for the black market. That's the other side of it. That's what people don't want.
Well, we see the black market dictate cities are, I guess industries like Oklahoma and California, and how they're going to have to make large pivots in the future. But do you think that, obviously there's got to be a large disparity. We've talked about it with our guest Cassidy, who's here with us. You do get a fair break on the buck for going through the medicinal side. And I feel it's not necessarily the tracking of the products, because having the same process in place for alprazolam or for Percocet seems to be of no consequence to anybody that goes to a pharmacy and is sitting in a database with semi-compliant HIPAA software. So I don't think that is that large of an issue to any of the consumers, is it?
I'd say it's a mixed bag for sure.
You really think that people are worried about their tracking information more so than anything else when they're shopping?
You gotta remember, this industry is one of those things where it's brand new to, it's 10 years old. A lot of these people are ex-drug dealers, people that don't want their name to be completely tracked at all times. I'm buying this, I'm buying that. So you have a lot of people with some mindsets. I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm the type of person that's when I get a targeted ad, I'm yes, this is awesome. Thank you for sending me something that I want to buy.
You're one of those guys that buys things off Instagram from China, and it takes.
I don't get scared.
That's awesome, John.